104.9 Sunshine FM, Tracy and minus the big D tonight, but it's okay because I have a beautiful lady joining me in the studios as we speak. Gina Timms, all the way from Tasmania. Thank you for joining Tracy and the Big D show tonight.
Hi Tracy, how you going?
Oh, it's lovely to be able to look across the desk and see something pretty rather than the Big D sitting there.
Oh, I won't tell him you said that.
He'll be listening in the car probably. He's running a little bit late at work, so that's okay. We'll excuse him for that one this time. But we did open the show there with Chris Stuff and Storms Are Coming. And while we've got you in the studios, Gina, I think we might play a couple of your songs tonight and see if we can squeeze maybe even a live song out of you. I did bring my guitar.
Oh, but see, I didn't travel this time with the guitar because I have bands and everything for this run, so I thought there's really no need to take the guitar all the way from Tassie. So
surprise.
I know, and then I walk in and there's a guitar, so that's good. We'll do something.
And because you've been busy today, you were singing down, was it Kedron today?
Yes, Kedron Wavell Services Club today, which was fantastic. I love it. That's a great gig. So supportive of, live entertainment, not just country, but all sorts of entertainment. So it was a good day.
And talking about being supportive, there are a lot of venues in Queensland that does support country music, as well as live music, but country music in particular. We talked to a lot of artists like in South Australia who said it's pretty tough finding venues and things over there. How is it in Tasmania as far as the gigs go and the venues for country music?
Well, I'm quite lucky, I think, because my demographic, because I live up on the northwest coast of Tasmania, so there's a lot happening on the northwest coast, not so much for country music down south in Hobart. Right. There's sort of more live bands, middle of the road, pub rock sort of stuff, so I'm really lucky. But I do leave Tassie an awful lot. I'm quite isolated, that strip of water called Bass Strait. I do have to fly across it regularly to come and do gigs. So I try to put together, runs like I'm doing today. So on Monday I did Caloundra RSL and then Kedron Wavell today, and then was able to squeeze in a few interviews and, business stuff yesterday. So do it in a run and it makes it heaps more fun, and then have a couple of days off at the end of the week, which is great. Well,
let's play some music right now and we'll come back again with Gina. As I said, Gina Timms joining us on the Tracy and the Big D show tonight. Here's Gina with I'll Be Out That Door. 104.9, Tracy and Gina Timms with us tonight on Sunshine FM with you. Well, I'll be with you right through till 10 o'clock. We're going to see if we can keep Gina in the studio for a little bit longer, and I have convinced her to pick up this guitar, but we're going to have a bit of a chat. When I first saw Gina Timms, I've gone, thank goodness we have not only a singer, but we have an entertainer.
Aww.
And it's one thing to be able to get up there and sing, but there's a completely different thing to get up and entertain. What is the thing for you? Is it entertaining or the singing?
Oh, well, first came the singing, but the entertaining came not long after it, because I thought if I'm going to get up there, I need to speak to people. But, my mum and dad used to take me to shows when I was quite young, and you'd watch people, like I went and saw Cold Joy when I was 7, and he just blew me away. And I grew up on Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn records, all that sort of stuff, and so you never ever heard those people speak because you only heard them, that pre-recorded stuff. And then I saw Cold Joy live, and he sat on my great-grandmother's knee, and he was just gorgeous, and everybody was laughing, but not just, ha ha ha, just crying, tears down their face, holding onto their sides, cackling that he was so entertaining and funny. I thought if I could do that for people when I get older. And so I was just sort of, picked up things along the way, what you can and can't get away with. And I think, being a bigger person, I get away with a lot more than I should. But if I stood there with the size 10 waist, I don't know that, they'd be expecting me to be a bit more ladylike. So I pushed the boundary and do get away with a lot. But I do love making people laugh.
We've watched your shows, but you take people through a journey. There's sometimes that we are laughing, we're laughing at you sometimes, we're laughing with you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the serious sides where you bring out these songs and you tell some backstories, and you just have us absolutely captivated listening to the words.
And that's the thing, even writing for the last album that I launched in Tamworth, my father had passed away, and I cried every day from the 13th of June last year up until August. Every day I woke up, I was sad. I'd think of something and think, Dad will know the answer to that. I'd go to pick up the phone and Dad's not there.
Yeah.
My beautiful husband took me to Rainbow Beach. He said, we're going to go away and you're going to write, because you've told me ever since we've been together, every time you write something, it's therapy. And it is really good. I'm so lucky, and a lot of other songwriters, I'm sure, or people that write poetry, get to write down their feelings rather than bottling them up. And so I sent it to Stewie French and I said, tell me what you think, because we've been mates since we were kids, being Tassie people and stuff. And he said, what I love about the songs are they are stories. They start at the top, that you tell us all about it and then you finish it. You don't leave us hanging. So I'm really, really proud of this album, but I did get to heal my broken heart. And, the title track, Thank You, Just Doesn't Seem Enough, which I wrote for my mum. That was my healing song. I woke up the next day after I'd written at Rainbow Beach and I said to Wayne, my husband, I'm not going to cry anymore. Dad would be so cross if I cried.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I thought I need to, if I'm going to sell this song to people, and it is a tearjerker, but then I'm thinking, how many people can relate to thank a parent for looking after the other parent? I've watched my mum stop her life totally to care for my dad. So I've told that story, but then I thought, oh gosh, I have to cheer myself up. And so I have a friend that lives at Caloundra who we stay with when we come up, and her nickname is Rowdy Deb. And I tell the story on stage, and I said, I'm sure she knocks over 3 bottles of bourbon a week. I don't think it's quite 3, but she has the best time. So then, to cheer myself up after writing Thank You Just Doesn't Seem Enough, I wrote Rowdy Deb, and I sang it this afternoon, and this old man came up, and his wife's 89, so he's got to be that plus.
Yeah.
And he said, our daughter's Deb, and she's rowdy too. So they brought the album just to take home
Just
play.
because Rowdy Deb.
Because their daughter's Rowdy Deb. So it's I really enjoy that. And I would love to be able to tell them the story of how the song was born, particularly when it's an original. Yes.
Well, I think it's nice, and it's a good time for you to be picking up this guitar right now and singing us a tune. So what are we going to hear this time?
It'd be rude not to do a Dolly song. Becky Cole and I have this Dolly off because, she's met Dolly and she's been a bigger Dolly fan as I have, but I'm older than her. Yeah, I've been a Dolly fan longer, but my birthday's on the same day as Dolly Parton, so I win.
Oh, and which one are we doing?
What about if we do Coat of Many Colours?
Okay, sounds like a good one to me. Here's Gina Timms live in the 104.9 studios with Coat of Many Colours. Sunshine FM, and you don't get any better than that. Coat of Many Colours, Gina Timms live in the studio. Thank you so much for giving us your Gina Timms version of it and not sounding like Dolly Parton.
Well, whenever Gina Timms opens her mouth to sing, it's got to be Gina Timms because it's my credibility and it's my integrity. And my dad always used to say to me, people would say, particularly in Tasmania, because there's not, a huge amount of musicians and country singers, but my dad would always say when someone said, gee, she's good, oh, she's not that great yet, mate. And he would always pull me back, and I'm eternally grateful for my parents keeping me grounded. So I get to stay grounded, and Coat of Many Colours was one of my songs I sang when I was 11 years old, and it just has special meaning.
Yep. Excellent. We'll talk about, your dad and everything. We are going to talk about the album Thank You, and we have 11 tracks on this one. If people out there haven't got a hold of the album yet, how are they going to do it?
Well, they can download it on iTunes. I finally got to iTunes. So they can download it off iTunes. They can go on to my ginatims.com.au/shop to buy it, and I can send an autographed copy. It's on Spotify and all those other things, but the local record stores in Tasmania have it. Kate's Country Sound in Tasmania does mail order, so it's out and about, or they can inbox me on Facebook and I can let them know where to get it. So
see, folks, there's no excuses. Gina Timms, Timms. Look her up on Facebook. That'll take you to her links to her websites and all that sort of stuff. Now, we always talk about people releasing singles off albums and things like that. How many do you think you may release off this one?
Do you know, Tracy, this is my 10th recording, and I think it's the best one I've ever done, but I think it's because 9 of the songs are mine, and I've not done that before. You're always looking for songs when you're doing an album or planning the project, and I often sing other people's songs because I love them, but this time I had a story to tell, and so I don't know, there's quite a few on there that could be singles. So
while they're getting good airplay and it's all going up there, just keep on bringing them out and letting people hear them, because a lot of times we do hear a lot of albums come through and they might just put 1 or 2 singles out, but George out there mightn't like that single and he may not get the chance to actually think, I'm going to go and buy that album. So put as many singles out as you can and let the people really have a good listen to it. What we could do is our listeners could buy the album, and then you could email or send Gina a Facebook message and let you know, Gina,
yes,
which one they would like to hear as your next single.
That would be fantastic. We could have like a Facebook poll.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we've already had a couple out there, but
yes.
Yeah, so there we go. We're going to have a little poll and get out there and find out which one's going to be next. But you have to get a hold of the album first. And in buying the album, you're not doing yourself a favour by having some fantastic music to listen to. You're also supporting another Australian music artist. So get out there and support them where you can. Gina, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Oh, thank you for letting me come in. It was so good to finally come in and talk to you live.
Yeah, we keep missing each other.
I know. We could chat for hours, though, I'm sure.
I know it is. The show must go on. So what we're going to do, we are going to thank you for coming in, and we are going to play the title track off the Gina Timms album, and it is Thank You. Gina, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy, and sorry you weren't here, Darren, Big D.